Hi, Valerie Hector here to show you a few pieces by my colleague Mary Kanda. I should say former colleague because she's no longer with us. Mary was a gifted beadworker and she was also a metalsmith, okay? The combination of the two is pretty rare in the beading field, okay? Mary did it especially well. She would first solder a sterling bezel like this. She signed them like that, Kanda on the back. And then she would bead the interior. She told me that she would keep the beads on their strings. She was using European and Japanese glass seed beads. She would leave the beads on the string as she set them into tile grout, okay? Here's a tulip brooch with pink tile grout. So she was experimenting to see what she could do with colored tile grout, okay? Beautifully done here. Very meticulous work. She told me that, you know, if the tile grout didn't set properly, she'd have to start all over again. If a bead popped out of place, she'd have to kind of repair it, you know, while the piece was setting. Here, look at she's doing here. She's got these some kind of sparkly glass beads here, maybe cremetti, as they might be called, and green tile grout here, okay? Fabulous piece. Collectors would line up at her booth to buy her pieces. I know I did. Here is another kind of flower brooch. Mary was into natural imagery, so flowers and leaves and things like that. She also did some geometric pieces, okay? Her work was featured on the cover of Ornament magazine, and I'll put a link somewhere in the show notes so you can check out that cover of Ornament magazine, okay? I just love how she made this sort of asymmetrical circular motif in the middle here with darker beads and just made a very natural kind of outline for this flower. Not rigid, just very organic. That's another way you can tell if it's a real Mary Kanda. Her shapes are mostly very organic, okay? Here's a leaf brooch, really even smaller beads than she was accustomed to using. She, yeah, here I think she also set these by laying down a string of beads and then pulling out the string. But there's just an incredible amount of workmanship here, okay? Some of the beads she set individually, like here. I think she set these individually. These she certainly set individually. So she took them off the strings and probably with a beading needle, set them into the tile grout one by one. You know, same here, okay? Now, Mary's work is pictured in my book, this old book. It's out of print. It came out in 2005. It's been out of print for years. Find a copy at your local library, okay? Or maybe on Amazon, I don't know. But Mary, I realized that Mary's work really matched up to some early European mosaic glass interior furnishing pieces, okay? One's made in the workshop of J.M. von Selow, S-E-L-O-W, in Braunschweig, Germany. Anyway, here's a tabletop, okay, with a beaded landscape scene, all bead mosaics, done in this 18th century workshop, okay? And here is a bird, maybe, I don't know, is it a parrot? I don't know what kind of bird this is, completely covered with bead mosaic, okay? So once I figured out that Mary's work was kind of like this antique European glass bead mosaic work, I asked her to follow the inspiration and make something kind of in the feeling of this piece here. So Mary responded by making these three brooches here, which are lovely, okay? This duck here picks up on the theme of these swans in this little pool, reflecting pool here, okay? And this scrolling sort of decorative motif here, this picks up on the general feeling of this motif down here, okay? This brooch here picks up on, you know, the different colors of green in the topiary trees right here, okay? And eventually Mary started incorporating pieces of glass, hot glass that she worked herself, like this spiral here. And it turns out that at a certain point in time, so did this artist in his workshop, J.M. van Selow, okay? 18th century, mid to later 18th century, okay? So check out Mary's works. I'm going to put some links. I don't think her website is active anymore because she has been gone for a while now. But if you're thinking about doing bead mosaics, check out Mary's work. She really is, or was, the leading light in our country for a very long time, if not forever. I don't know. I'm not current with what bead mosaic artists are doing these days. Okay, thanks for coming by, and check out the show notes.